Okay, what a show so far, huh? Let's get into what we're here for, potentially. That is the Real Housewives of Orange County Episode 6 recap. The title of this episode, folks, is called What Voodoo You Do. Because, yes, they're in New Orleans, and they're playing with voodoo dolls. I swear. Like, you're going to expect me to believe that all of these ladies do not have voodoo dolls already made of each other. I imagine, like, Tamra's place is just voodoo dolls from, like, the past 19 seasons that this show has been operational. My God. Anyways, the cable company gives us this description. As the New Orleans trip continues, the ladies keep the festivities going by attending a dog parade. Oh, perfect. Yes, a dog parade. And making voodoo dolls. Yeah, just normal New Orleans stuff. Shannon flashes her medium-sized hooters. No. Jenn continues to question the intention behind sharing the unflattering picture. Wait, what? Why is the cable description pussing out? We're supposed to call it the former fatty photo. I don't know who came up with the former fatty photo, but now former fatty photo, they say it about 1 billion times every episode. Former fatty photo. In fact, that's a great idea for a t-shirt. Jenn Pedranti, if you're listening, former fatty photo would just plain former fatty photo. And then it says the end of the cable company's description says Shannon remains cautious. Shannon remains like a ninja. She remains cautious. So that's what the cable company gives us. If you were to have never watched an episode of Orange County and you just happened by that cable description, would you say like, hey, I got to check this out? I will say episode 6, season 19, I did not mind it. I thought there was a lot of good moments in this, and especially with Tamra running off at the end. I mean, God, it just harkens back to that one season. What were they, in Mexico or Aruba or something like that? And Tamra was like, you'll never see my face again. Remember that? Tamra loves a good running off moment. And I don't think Tamra will ever fully admit it, but Tamra, these always seem to have alcohol involved. And that very last scene in this episode is really worth watching because I think, you can paint it in so many different ways. But I also think it was one of those moments, and I don't think she will ever be honest about this, have you ever had those moments where all of a sudden you realize you've had too much to drink and you realize people are talking to you and you are trying to keep it together? And I think she realizes cameras on her. And so she's just... she yells out a couple of things, but she's being weirdly composed for Tamra, which usually means she's drunk, because if she's not drunk, she's like screaming, but she's like choosing her battles in this conversation. And then she leaves and then immediately posts on Instagram. I was like, holy shit, Tamra's like a junior high kid. I mean, this is what you do in like middle school or like I would imagine high school. She's already posted a goodbye message like 5 minutes after leaving. Oh my God. So there's a lot of great moments, a lot of weird, like the dog thing was weird. We still have Katie Janela. Is she an op? Is she the hero? I mean, and the fact that Kiki Monique and all that, it's just like former fatty photo. Are they required to say Kiki's first and last name? Kiki Monique. Kiki Monique. What, can we just say Kiki or we have to say Kiki Monique? Are they making them say first and last name? I'm so confused. And you guys know how I feel about bringing creators, bloggers, journalists, whatever we're calling ourselves. I don't love, unless you're going to put Kiki on as like a friend of, I come on, fight with each other, bond with each other. I will say, having said all of that, this was still better than the And Just Like That finale that I watched tonight. My God, a once mighty show has fallen to its knees. Holy shit. I mean, and when I say holy shit, I mean it. There was literally a poop scene in the finale of And Just Like That. What did we do to Michael Patrick King? And the thing is, I still love Sarah Jessica Parker with all of my heart. Like I can separate things. I can compartmentalize. So I love Sarah Jessica Parker. In fact, I love all of the women in that show, but it's so weird. It's like that movie Ed Wood. I mean, when you have all of these elements that come together and that's it. I mean, listen, I thought this was their choice to leave, but obviously it was canceled. Obviously, because this is not how you go out. This was a season finale, not a series finale. This was but listen, Brady knocked up that girl that came to Thanksgiving, and then we're not gonna, because you knew they were like, oh, we're gonna have Miranda. Sorry, my voice just, I'm doing reverse puberty right now. Miranda, it's me, Steve. I have got one ball. Miranda was gonna be a grandmother next season. That was already gonna be a storyline. And Carrie had so many more men to make miserable. We were going to see Burger was probably going to come back. Big was going to come back from the grave. I think he's cryogenically frozen. So having said all of that, this Real Housewives of Orange County episode was better than the In Just Like That series finale. So I will say that. Did you guys like it? Do you guys even watch? I have so many people that will reach out to me and be like, I don't even watch the shows. I don't even like the shows. I don't even like Bravo. I just like listening to you yammer. Oh, well, listen, whatever it is that draws you to this show, listening or watching on YouTube, my God, we do really, really appreciate it. Oh, I just feel like I'm raging against the machine, and this isn't even the machine I should be raging against. I should be raging against like the world at large, and instead I'm just here angry about In Just Like That and Moments on the Valley. Oh God. Oh, speaking of Tamra, this made me laugh. This is from realityblurb.com. I guess Tamra and Teddy on their Twats podcast talked about Sheena's book, My Good Side. And, Sheena revealed a lot of the celebrities that she had hooked up with over the years. And it was a nice roster. It was like, it wasn't quite like the female DiCaprio, but it was a nice roster. And Tamra revealed the celebrities that have hit on her. And the two celebrities she named was George Lopez, the comedian, George Lopez. Okay. I mean, and then the second one was Gary Busey, actor Gary Busey. Remember Gary Busey? I mean, listen, in the 80s, Gary Busey had a respectable movie career, and the guy is bonkers. Remember the season he did of Celebrity Fit Club when VH1 had that show? Celebrity Fit Club. I think it was on Sunday nights, and Gary Busey was one of the contestants one season. Kevin Federline, K-Fed, was one of the contestants one season, which, by the way, did you just see that Kevin Federline's memoir is about to come out? Move over, Sheena. There's a new New York Times bestseller, K-Fed. But anyways, Gary Busey was the other guy that Tamra said hit on her. And I shit you not, you guys, Gary Busey in the last couple of years has been in some legal hot water. One, I mean, trigger warning here. One, this isn't, but like he was out in Malibu and he was masturbating in public. He was like, look, I'm not making this, masturbating in public. And then he just pled guilty to grabbing a woman at like a Comic-Con or some sort of convention he was at, and he just pled out on that. So Tamra, yeah, Eddie does not need to be threatened at all of Gary Busey. I think Gary seems to be trying to spread his seed into a lot of different directions. So, but I love just Tamra's honesty. You got to love it. Also, what upsets me about that last scene, because I do think she was obviously drunk. Like I said, I don't think we will ever get her to admit that, but it's upsetting because she still goes after Shannon so much about drinking. And it's like, girl, you can't handle your own shit. And I guess what is that called? Projection. So it's frustrating as an audience member. So last week, we don't even have like scenes from previous episodes. They start us right out in this episode in New Orleans after the dinner where Tamra was on the ground at the restaurant, showing that she likes to be penetrated by Eddie from the side. I was like, oh, I could go to the grave not knowing that information, but yet here we are. So they're out and about in New Orleans. Imagine being drunk in Bourbon Street and all of a sudden like Gina and Heather Dubrow have like big hurricanes, but Gina's like, I'm way too sober for this, because she's sober. And then we hear Shannon be like, show me your tits. And in a talking head, Shannon's like, take it easy, Grandma. And we see them cheersing, and then they're at another club, and they're screaming Emily like, reverse cowgirl, reverse cowgirl. And they're like hiking Shannon's skirt up and like touching her butt. And Gina's talking to Tamra and is like, how are you feeling about you and Shannon? Yeah. And Tamara's like, I don't know. So they're rekindling this friendship, allegedly, right? But then we have flashbacks of Shannon going, just because I hugged Tamara, it doesn't negate all of the attacks. And then we have all of the attacks from Tamra of like, oh my God, have another drink. An alcoholic. She drinks. She's an alcoholic. She drove a car into the house. You're a liar and a drunk. So, yeah. And then somebody's like, they're not good. They're just coexisting. But it's good to see them, I guess, being able to do scenes with each other, because Shannon won't even do scenes pretty much with Katie Janela, which is very interesting. I talk about this every week. You can win the scene and lose the audience. And I don't think Shannon has lost the audience at all. But I will say, I don't think people understand why these ladies think Katie is dangerous, right? There is a credibility problem with Katie. Tamra says, there is one thing I know about Shannon. You know, if she gets upset about something, she will hold on to it. And Emily saying, I don't like her dictating Jen's relationship with you. And we flash back to Jenn Pedranti in a scene with Emily where Jenn Pedranti's like, Shannon will tell me, you better not roll on me. And Emily goes, she wants you to not resolve things with Tamra because then she's not alone. Who cares who's on whose side, man? Be El Solo Lobo, man. Win the fans. Who cares about being friends with all these nut jobs? Jeana then, they're out partying and having these conversations. Gina's like, with Gretchen, at least, she seems reasonable. Like she wants to move forward with you, Tamra. That is, like, I never thought in a million years that I would be like, oh, Gretchen is the one that makes the most sense on this show. I don't mean like being on the show, like in what she says. I mean, she looks like her makeup has been spackled on, but other than that, and it's so funny because sometimes you do need like a little juice, like a cast member from the past that comes in and really kind of lets it rip. And Gretchen is not yelling and fighting. She's saying things in a very calm way. And it's like, this is what Alexis Bellino wishes she had done, that Gretchen is being able to do. I don't think it's going to be smooth sailing for Gretchen for the rest of the season. But, we flash back to Gretchen last episode saying, I've prayed a lot about it, asking God to change my heart on the subject. I swear I say this every week. God does not want to hear the shit. Like God is like, I barely created the Real Housewives. I'm more of a 90 Day Fiance kind of God. I do not watch Bravo. That's how I feel. God does not want to be disturbed with this shit. Emily's talking to Tamra and saying, you're working on yourself. You're going to therapy. Prove to people, Tamra, that you can be different. We've seen Tamra go one time to therapy. We've seen her on camera go, are we supposed to trust Tamra that she genuinely is going to therapy every week? This seems like just another season with Tamra. I don't notice a huge difference. So now it's the next day. We do a round robin of all the ladies getting dressed. And Emily's on the phone with some lady that runs like this rescue dog foundation. And I guess there's like a rescue dog parade or something that the girls are all going to be involved in. Okay. And then some of the ladies board a trolley train. And Gina does one of my favorite songs, my favorite new song. She's like, we're going on a trolley ride. We're going on a trolley ride. Folks, we are here once again to talk about our good friends over at Quince. I have so many amazing pieces of clothing from Quince now. In fact, I just got this gray zip-up hoodie, and I got it in a size large. I was wearing an extra large. Health journey is going great, but that's not what this commercial is about. And also, I have Quince sheets. I am sleeping on Quince sheets every night, and it is amazing. So why drop a fortune on basics when you don't have to? Quince has the good stuff, high quality fabrics, classic fits, and lightweight layers for warm weather,
all at prices that make sense. Everything I've ordered from Quince has been nothing but solid. Quince has closet staples you'll want to reach for over and over, like cozy cashmere and cotton sweaters from just $50, breathable flow knit polos, and comfortable lightweight pants that somehow work for both weekend hangs and dressed up dinners. The best part, everything with Quince is half the cost of similar brands. How do they do this? By working directly with top artisans and cutting out that middleman. Quince gives you luxury pieces without the markup. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. So, keep it classic and cool with long-lasting staples from Quince. Go to quince.com/sobad for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/sobad. Go to their website right now, folks. You're going to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/sobad. You know what doesn't belong in your epic summer plans? Getting burned by your old wireless bills. That's why I made the switch to Mint Mobile. I use this. You should too. And for a limited time, Mint Mobile is offering 3 months of unlimited premium wireless service for $15 a month on the nation's largest 5G network. I mean, the sound is pristine. So say goodbye to your overpaid wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages because Mint Mobile is here to rescue you. Like I said, all plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text, delivered on that largest 5G network. So, this year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get this new customer offer and your 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/sobad. That's mintmobile, mintmobile.com/sobad. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time, new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Join the fun on DraftKings Casino, ranked the #1 online casino experience. They've got everything you've been searching for. Thousands of exciting games, huge jackpots, exclusive offers, and more. New players get a 10-day welcome offer. 500 spins on Huff N' More Puff when you play just $5 to start. So, download the DraftKings Casino app, sign up with code SOBAD, and spin your favorite slots. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 plus. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Non-withdrawable casino spins issued as 50 spins per day for 10 days. Valid for feature game only and expire each day after 24 hours. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Ends 8/24/25 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. #1 based on Eilers and Krajcik 2H24 product analysis.
So she wants to have fun today, she says. And she's like, I have strategically chosen to have my very mentally tough friend Emily take one for the team and take the troublemakers. So she's taking Katie, Janella, Tamra, and Shannon so Gina can have fun. We're going on a trolley ride. And they're going to go to the French market, and then everybody's going to meet up for dinner. And Gina's like, good luck. Woo. So then in the car, we have Emily, Tamra, and Shannon. And Tamra's in the back seat going, hey, Shannon, any bruises from falling off the cock? And Shannon's just stone-faced. And she's like, no. And then we flash back to the previous night where Shannon's wearing Shannon's like just the skirt is hiked up and she's riding this mechanical bull. I mean, this is what's called Raging Bull. And they do a slow-mo of Shannon falling off. And then Emily goes, Shannon, when was the last time you were on a cock? And Shannon's like, when was the last time you were on a cock before that cock? And then even as I get older, I'm like, really? We're just allowed to like full on say cock on like cable television now? Like that, I guess that's something. We've done something in this world. But she's like, when have you been on a cock since the last cock? And Shannon's like, quite a long time. quite a long time. And Emily's like, was John Janssen the last one you had sex with? I'm John Janssen. I'm having sex with you, Shannon Beador. And Shannon's like, yeah. So Shannon is saying that she is not hooked up with any of those love hotel guys. Above the neck. Above the neck. And then Tamra says, we need to hire her a prostitute here. By the way, a gigolo for Shannon Beador? Like, in reality, that would maybe be traumatic for Shannon, but like as a reality show viewer, a special episode where they all hire, or like have it be like True Romance where you don't even tell Shannon and it's somebody that just like, they just meet at a bar and then it turns out this was a gigolo that all the girls hired for Shannon. I would love that. Anyways, in the car, we see Katie Janela calling her husband Matt. She's like, hey, honey, so I just had it out with Shannon. We were supposed to go to Cafe Du Monde, and Shannon walked in, and she goes, I'm not going if she's going. And we flash back to this hotel room where Shannon is telling Tamra, I'm not really comfortable right now. I don't want to be around you, Katie. I'm not going if Katie's going. And listen, I love Shannon Beador with all my heart, but I do have rules in reality television, and I always hate when you don't go on cast trips. I hate when you exclude people from scenes or refuse to film with people. You guys are like gladiators with boobs, and I need you to act as such. And Shannon has survived. If Shannon can survive last season, she can survive anything. But Katie says, I'm fine. Then you guys go. I'm not going to go. So I'm in a car. I'm going to head to meet the other group of girls. In a talking head, Katie says, you've been around Alexis, who is suing you with her boyfriend for $75,000. I want to remind people, though, it's not just that Katie secretly recorded Shannon. It's that Katie played it for Alexis Bellino. That is like a little caveat to that I think people are forgetting. Because, that was such a huge embarrassment, that whole scenario for Shannon. So this is just rubbing it in her face, in my opinion. But Katie's like, I can't even eat a goddamn beignet with you. This is kind of what I think the real Katie is more like, is that she's nice and stuff. But I wish Katie was more like this the first season instead of trying to ingratiate herself. But remember, Katie now, if you look back on the first season, she had an auspicious beginning because remember, like Heather Dubrow and Sutton Strack, and they were all kind of saying Katie was weird or making up things. And I do wonder about Katie's relationship with the truth, or at least the edit makes us, or is trying to make us, question Katie's relationship with the truth, right? So, Gina is like, they were back in the trolley. She's like, it was so good to have a night where it was fun. But like, I spent a lot of time hearing your frustrations, Jenn Pedranti, and everything. And are we ever going to address any of these things, And Heather goes, well, Tamra said, were you not in the room when she said she really wanted to talk to you, Gretchen? And Gretchen says, I wasn't. And we flash back to the night before where Emily's like, I think you and Gretchen need to have a sit down. I love that Emily and Gina are the supposed reliable narrators that try to like get people to like, I think you should have a scene with this person. Heather goes, but with Tamra, she's been in a very emotional state. And we flash back to Tamra crying about Teddy. Obviously, Teddy is going through something so traumatic right now. And Heather says, even before everything that happened with Teddy and her therapy and like, she, sort of regressing and going through her life and all of these things. And Gina's like, it seems like a good opportunity to make some progress. Gretchen in a talking head says, I'm trying to be optimistic about a possible reconciliation with Tamra. And then she hits us with another Bible thing. She's like, the Bible is very clear that it is a commandment to forgive. So if she can take some accountability, then there might be an opportunity to move forward. I got to get this Bible, man. What is this Bible Gretchen's talking about? Is this like a bestseller? Is this like one of those Hunger Game books? I'm joking, you guys. I know what the Bible is. It's a romantic novel. Gina's ordering beignets at Cafe Du Monde, and she's like, I'm glad Tamra's not here so she can't take a former fatty photo of me eating beignets. Because remember, the big storyline is Jenn Pedranti's former fatty photo that we keep saying over and over again. that Tamra was showing off to Heather Dubrow, right? So then we see Tamra and Emily and Shannon walking in, and I love the background scenes because you can see all of the just normies in the background just staring at the ladies in the camera of like, the housewives, they really do walk amongst us. And then Tamra in a talking head says her and Teddy were just here. They were just at Cafe Du Monde probably 4 weeks ago. And then she goes, I was here with Bronwyn and Teddy. And I was like, oh my God, you were here with Bronwyn Wyndham Burke? Did Bronwyn call paparazzi on this meeting? And then we see a photo of Bronwyn in the back with a beignet. Man, that's a blast from OC past. But Tamra says we were having fun and we went home, and shortly after that, we found out that Teddy had cancer. She's, talking about the 4 tumors in her brain. Teddy's currently doing immunotherapy right now. Tamra says it's a very bittersweet feeling being back here. And she's trying to make the best of it. And I don't want to ever be unfeeling because I do think these things weigh on people, obviously. But I was just trying to understand how much really this is pushing on Tamra's mental state, or is it she is just feeling pressure from people like Gretchen and Jenn coming after her? Which, now that I'm talking about it out loud, she's dealt with people trying to come after her for years. So maybe it really is just a mixture of everything, right? And a lot of alcohol. It's not just Shannon, you guys. Anyway, so now Tamra, Shannon, and Emily, they're having beignets on a park bench. Man, Emily does have just a ridiculous amount of scenes with food in her. It's like she always has a food prop in her hand. And then she's like getting like the fucking dust from the beignet off her. It's like white powder everywhere. Looks like, and then she's like, has leather pants on. It's like, she's like trying to dust off her leather pants. And Shannon's talking to the girls. She's like, what am I going to do about the Katie situation? And Shannon's like, she irritates me. And Tamra's like, clearly. And then we cut to Katie getting out of her Uber. And we hear Heather asking Gina, do you think you and Big Bull Travis will ever get married? And Gina's like, everybody keeps asking me that, and I don't know. And Heather's like, do you need to get married? And she goes, I might. Is it important to the kids? And Gina goes, I think they would really love that. So I feel like we are going to see a wedding of Travis and Gina on a season of OC. Anyways, Jen Pedranti says, I feel kind of like you. I don't know that I would have to be married again, but I think it's more for the kids. Oh, so is Jen Pedranti saying all of her kids need her to be married to Ryan? But Jen in a talking head says, well, what if it doesn't work out? What am I going to have to go through? That seems to be a storyline for Jen this season, is like, should I get married? And former fatty photo. But she says she has fear around that. So Katie finally gets around the other ladies and she's like, where did you come from? So Katie, I was supposed to go to Cafe Du Monde with Shannon, and Shannon said, I'm not going if she's going. I feel unsafe around her. It would be funny if Katie was audio recording this scene as well. But Katie's like, yeah. So I said I didn't need to go. You can go. And Heather goes, they all got up and left you there by yourself? Jen in a talking head says, this is ridiculous. Shannon has the right to be pissed at Katie, but Shannon's coexisting on this trip with Tamra. And then in a talking head, Shannon's like, oh, really? Like, there's no comparison. Jen said, can't you just coexist with Katie for the sake of the trip? Shannon's like, it's not going to happen. No. Shannon storms the door. No. Okay, so now Gina's like, let's go shop. Let's buy some trinkets for my new house. Then we cut back to Emily, and Emily says, I went out with Jenn horseback riding. Yeah, a normal thing that you do. And she was telling me that you, Shannon, that you keep saying to her, don't roll on me. Like roll on her with Tamra. And Tamra's right there. And Tamra says, like, you're trying to get people to turn on me? And Shannon's like, Shannon's just getting frustrated. Like, I can't believe it. Shannon and I talking head goes, don't roll on me? What is that? Don't roll on me. What is that? I don't even know what it means. Emily says she means don't fuck me over and go make up with Tamra. And Tamra goes, Shannon, so you've never said that. And Shannon goes, I've talked to her about my relationship with you, what happened between us. I don't think I'll ever forget it. It was a lot for me because I was at a really low point and your response was like, you're a drunk. I mean, Shannon is completely right. And Tamra does the normal Tamra thing where she always is like, oh, totally. I can totally understand how you would feel that way. And that's why I don't really drink that much anymore until the very end of this episode. In a talking head, Tamra goes, I've learned alcohol is not good for me because I looked at myself last year and I didn't like it. Have one drink, okay, but if I go past that, that's when it gets nasty and dirty and I say things that I don't mean. My goal is to have conversations with people with no alcohol in me. And sometimes we don't hit our goals, right? So it's okay. Sometimes we quit the show when we're on a lot of alcohol. And Tamra says, and Shannon, you won't see me wasted ever, ever. And Shannon goes, you know, last night I had a good time. Tamra goes, do you think you can let that go, Shannon? And Shannon's thinking about it. And Tamara's like, we have a 10-year friendship. And Shannon goes, I can't hop back in. You know, talking to Ed, Shannon goes, I don't like fighting, but I'm not going to roll over either. Oh, or am I going to roll on it? So now she's using roll on. Anyways, Tamara does the whole, I love you and I miss you and I love you and I miss you and I want to do the Tres Amigas and I love you and I'm very sorry. Shannon goes, I'm hopeful that Tamara's apology is authentic. We're not screaming at each other. We're coexisting. And let's just sit with that. Okay, so that's positive. So we cut back to the other ladies shopping at the market and talking about saging everybody. And Gina's like, if you see a snow globe, let me know because I got to get one for Sienna. I don't even think that is for Sienna. I think Gina seems like that kind of person that collects snow globes, right? I love snow globes. Woo! Heather's like bartering with people. And then Jenn starts talking about the former fatty photo. It is fun to say now that I keep saying it over and over again. But Heather's not around, and Jen's talking about being offended because Heather was trying to diffuse the situation on the trolley when she was bringing it up in regards to Tamra. And Jenn says, you know, that time in my life when I took that former fatty photo, which, by the way, she's not fat in the photo, and it's ridiculous, but she was like, that time in my life, I was home raising my family. I was not focused on myself. I wasn't focused on what I wore. I wasn't focused on the fucking gym. So she should probably take a playbook out of mine, take a note out of my playbook and fucking raise her family. So Jen's like using curse words, right? And Jenn goes, this whole dumbing it down to make it seem like it wasn't that bad is bullshit. I can't actually wait to see this picture, Jenn Pedranti says. In a talking head, she goes, I'm going to address this former fatty photo. We are the ones that allow Tamra to keep acting like this. And until we have an intervention or an exorcism or whatever you want to call it, she's never going to change. No, that's what we call it, an exorcism. We go back to Tamra. And Tamra's like, should we go to church and just pray it away? And we see a church in the distance. And Tamra goes, pray all the badness away. And Emily goes, you need to go in there. Tamra would burst into flames if she stepped foot in there. I'm kidding. Stop. I'm kidding. So now it's time for this parade to bring awareness to fostering and adopting dogs, which I think is, I love dogs so much. Oh my God. I miss you, Brooklyn. My dog, she passed away about 2 years ago. Miss her every day. But they're bringing awareness to fostering dogs. It's a big parade, and all the ladies are talking about how they love dogs. But Gina, I guess, got like 2 designer dogs. She's like, oh, I support adopting, but I have 2 designer doodles. And Shannon talks about rescuing Archie from a 4 Seasons. Archie, my favorite dog. But Emily's now making a speak. Imagine this. Imagine then you were out the night before in New Orleans and you're hungover, and then you go to this parade, and all of a sudden you see all the Real Housewives of Orange County ladies during the day. It's weird to see them at night, but then during the day, and they're holding up, they've all printed out pictures of their dogs and they're holding them up, which, by the way, I thought this would have been a good moment for Shannon. Shannon should have had a picture of John Janssen of like, here's my stupid adopted dog. But Emily's like, thank you, everybody. And I like there's like a brass band, like, when the saints come marching in. And Emily's like, all of us here have rescue dogs. Here's 2 of mine. And like people are like tepidly clapping on the streets of Bourbon. And some lady asked Emily, how important are these dogs in your life? And Emily's like, more important than my husband. Togo, her dog, will be in bed and they spoon, Emily says. Oh, great. So the parade's over and Shannon's like, that was fun. What are we doing next? And Gina's like, we're going to see the Voodoo Queen. The Voodoo Queen Bloody Mary. And Heather's face is like, zoinks. And I think Gretchen's face was like zoinks, but you can't tell because there's a lot of stuff happening there. And we see this Bloody Mary's Haunted Museum. And they walk in and you see signs that say psychic and palm readings. And then we meet Bloody Mary, the owner of this establishment. And all the ladies look really scared. Like, just have a fucking drink. You're in New Orleans. Who cares? But Bloody Mary's like, welcome to my voodoo shop. Maybe the spirits will come out to say hello. Maybe Brooks. No, sorry. They're like, and if you turn around, there's a voodoo doll bar. So you dress them, we bless them. We teach you how to feed them, and we tell them what to do and how you feed them. They're like gremlins. I don't know. Everything that you do to the doll, do it with intention. It could be the man or woman that you're trying to lure into your life. And Shannon looks just rattled. And Gina's like, Shannon! Emily in a talking head goes, I feel like Shannon's exhausted all other options of getting a man, so why not try voodoo? How dare you, Emily Simpson? And then Emily goes, she's already been sued. How worse can it get? Damn, brutal. Bloody Mary goes, it's not to harm the other, okay? Try to get what you want. And Tamra's like, so it's not evil. And Tamra's like, I want to make sure that I'm the only evil person here, all right? These voodoo dolls are not evil. And you can tell Gretchen. Gretchen's like, what part of the Bible? Gretchen's already worried, like going over the Bible in her head. And the lady's like, humans are evil, not these voodoo dolls. I made a bigger area to decorate in the courtyard in the back. And so we go, and I don't know, it's like the Sir Alley in the back. And Gretchen's like, oh dear. And Shannon goes, I'm not super excited about this. And Gretchen goes, no. And Tamra goes, it's like inviting the devil. Tamra, you're already here. It's like inviting the devil in. What are you talking? And Shannon's like, yeah, Tamra, I think that as well. Gretchen in a talking head goes, I'm not vibing with the voodoo. Because as far as I know, voodoo is like woo-doo. It's like woo, woo, woo. And I don't like voodoo, woo, woo, woo. I like breaking Slade's penis. Anyways, Bloody Mary's like, we're going to open the gates back here. And then somebody's like, Shannon, are you not making a voodoo doll? And she's like, no. Tamra's sitting down, Shannon's sitting down, Gretchen's sitting down, and Bloody Mary's like, are you guys onlookers and not participants? Is that it? Okay. There's no such thing as an observer, okay? That goes for all of you. Once you're an observer participant. And then Gretchen's like, okay, then I'm going to leave. I'm sorry. Thank you. No, thank you. The producer should have been like, Gretchen, you get your ass back in there or you're off this season. You wanted your shot. Here it is. You make the voodoo doll, right? And then Shannon's like, I'm not going to be a part of it either. And Tamra leaves as well. Poor Bloody Mary. And they run out of this store. And, Gretchen's like, I don't like it. I'm not a voodoo girl. I just don't like it. I don't want spirits to hang out with me. I don't at Bass Lake. And Tamara says, if I don't have enough problems right now, I don't need any bad spirits. And Shannon goes, what is that voodoo doll going to do? I saw the Brady Bunch. Did you just drop a Brady Bunch, the fucking Brady Bunch reference? Anyways, the rest of the ladies are there. And Bloody Mary's like, okay, here's some fringe. Here's some glitter. I'll go see if there's any other goodies. I don't know. If you need anything, let me know. I'll be back. And all the other ladies making the voodoo dolls are like, that is an interesting throuple that walked out. Because it's Shannon, Tamra, and Gretchen. So they all walk out and they sit down on just some bricks. And Tamra starts talking like they're going to go on a boat tour tomorrow. And she's like, I feel like we should all dress up tomorrow. Like we're on Summer House or something, Like tutus, hair things. And Gretchen's like, to see gators? And then back in the voodoo thing, Gina's like, what do you think they're talking about? And Emily goes, I will tell you earlier today that Shannon and Tamra basically made up. I sat in between them. They're not going to be best friends and braid each other's hair and spend night in each other's room. but I think it was good. Step forward. So that's where we're at, right? And Gina's like, great. Jenn in the talking head says, listen, I want Shannon to do whatever she needs to do with Tamra, but Shannon, who's rolling on who? Jenn should be like, you hope that me and my former fatty photo better not roll over on you. Gina goes, all right, one person made up with Tamra. That's pretty good. Yeah. And then Tamra outside going, are they making voodoo dolls about us? And Gretchen's like, probably. And then Tamra goes, they're going to get possessed. I'm pretty sure that Jen's voodoo doll was like, let's make her look like Tamra. Jenn says, if Tamra were to be making a voodoo doll of me, it would be my hair's longer. And then Tamra goes, we cut back to forth from talking heads. And Tamra's like, I'll use your hair extensions. And Jenn cut back to her and she's like, Jen's ugly. It's lame. Whatever. Tamra's talking about Jenn being a single white female. It's so stupid. I don't think that this is such a stupid storyline that has no legs. Shannon goes, Gretchen, what happened when Katie went over to your side? And Gretchen goes, oh, when she came and met us, she just said that you said she's a criminal and that you don't want to be around her anymore. And she goes, okay, I never said the word criminal. And then we cut to 2 hours earlier, Katie, Tamra, and Shannon in the room. And Shannon's like, you committed a criminal act. I have said my piece with you. There's not one fucking word you can say to me that will change my mind. We go to this scene and Shannon goes, she recorded me and that's against the law. And Tamara's laughing and Gretchen's like, we're back to that. And Gretchen, I think, is laughing uproariously, but once again, the face doesn't move. Gretchen says, I like Katie. She hasn't done anything to me. And Shannon goes, okay, but Gretchen, do you want to be friends with people that commit illegal acts? And then Gretchen clocks Shannon right here. Ooh, this took the wind out of me. Gretchen goes, no, but Shannon, in fairness, you got a DUI and that's illegal too. In a talking head, Tamra goes, oh shit, shots are fired. Ha ha! She laughs gleefully. Tamra goes, this is probably the first thing I've ever agreed with Gretchen on. And Gretchen goes, Tamra, what do you think about it? Now Tamra's in a precarious position because she just made up with Shannon. And Tamra's like, well, I think that maybe, Shannon, you give her another chance. And if she fucks up again, and Shannon goes, oh, says the girl where she just went and tried to get a story reported about you? She had a meeting, Gretchen, with a woman. Who's that? And Tamra's like, Kiki Monique. We're supposed to say her first and last name. Everybody knows who Kiki Monique is. And Tamra goes, I don't even want to say it because it's so disgusting. In a talking head, Tamra says, I was warned about this story before we started filming. Somebody in the press reached out to me to let me know that Katie had... What press? This isn't the fucking Washington... Sorry, I'm using so much cursing today. Washington Post or New York Times. Reality Blur? What press is reaching out? But he's like, somebody reached out to me from the press that Katie had lunch with a blogger. And once again, blogger. What the flip, man? Kiki's not a blogger. None of us are bloggers. Blogging doesn't really exist anymore. But Shannon said Katie had lunch with Kiki Monique and said some pretty horrific things about me. Katie said, Gretchen, that you told her that I roofied you. And Gretchen, I think, once again, is shocked. Can't really tell with her face. She just leans in, so I think that's like a shocked look. She said you told her that. And Shannon's like, what? And Shannon's like, yeah. And Shannon's like, are you kidding me? Because Shannon's looking for any reason to be really upset at Katie. And Gretchen stands up and she has her hair, she kind of is touching her hair. I was like, are you putting your hair into a ponytail to get into a fight or something? But Shannon goes, see, now we add Gretchen to the list. And Gretchen says, oh my fucking God. Are you allowed to say that in the bio? Oh my fucking God. We come back from break and Tamra, is in a voiceover. She's like, 17 years ago, me and the girls would always see Gretchen out wasted. This is 2008, man. OGOC. It was the best. If you have not seen these seasons, run to Peacock. And we have like flashbacks of like old Gretchen on the show. And Tamara's like, but yet when we were together, she always acted like prim and proper. I had a party at my house. So me and Vicki were joking and said, and then we flashed to the actual scene where Tamra whispers to Vicki, we're going to get Gretchen naked wasted. And they're like, no, we're going to get her naked wasted. And Tamra in a talking head goes, yeah, so we could see the real Gretchen come out. And we see Gretchen drunk at this party, and she's like, it almost looks like she's humping Dawn Gunvalson. My God, I miss you, Dawn. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about you, Dawn Gunvalson. Come back for the 20th season. But Tamara says, we not meaning get her naked. Was it nice of us to do that? Probably not, Tamara says, but that was it. Nothing more than that. In this scene, Tamara goes, Gretchen, I didn't think you ever said that to Katie. And Shannon goes, you didn't say that. And Gretchen goes, hell to the no. I didn't say that. In a talking head, Gretchen goes, I'm trying to comprehend. Supposedly Katie said this, but I'm having this weird feeling in the back of my mind of consider the source that's telling you she said this. Gretchen, got to agree with Gretchen, man. Gretchen's smart. I love Gretchen smart, use brain, very smart. Gretchen in the scene goes, no, I don't even believe that. I don't even believe that. And Jenn goes, well, we're going to ask her that tonight. And then Tamara goes, I got told by 2 people. So now there's 2 sources for this? I mean, this is like Watergate. Gretchen in the talking head says, it is utterly overwhelming for me right now, this information that she's disclosing to me. But also, it potentially is very exciting because she's like, are you telling me I have a storyline? Are you telling me that Gretchen Rossi has a storyline on this show now? Shannon goes, put the recording aside. I am livid over this. How dare you? How dare you? How long have you been holding on to that, Tamra? And Tamra says, about 4 weeks. Tamra is just a collector of information. This is why you know they're not real friends. They just hold all of this information and then just wait for the opportune times to put it out on the show. And she's like, are you kidding me? And Gretchen says, I am spinning over this. I don't even... And she's like, sorry, sweetie. Tamara says, I don't know if you said that because like you hated me and you were just sort of trying to get back at me or make me look bad. And Gretchen goes, if I had that, don't you think I would have put that out there by now? And Shannon goes, I just looked at you and said, no, you wouldn't say that. No. So they're all saying, Gretchen would never say. Gretchen said she didn't say it. Shannon said she didn't say it. Tamara said, maybe you put it out there. And Gretchen's like, I wouldn't, So now we're back in the voodoo thing. They're now getting a tour of the voodoo facility. And the Bloody Mary's like, pick up your doll. And I'm going to do a group zap and then an individual waking. Hold the doll still, okay? I baptize you in the name of, and then Katie's doll is named Matt. And then the Bloody Mary lady hits the doll and goes, ah, ba ba, ah, ba ba ba, ah, ba ba ba, ah, ba 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 ba, ah, ba ba ba, ba ba. It's kind of like Amen, Hallelujah. Ah, ba 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 ba. I baptize you and awaken you in the name of. And Heather has a doll of her own. Heather goes, Heather. Of course Heather would have a doll named after herself. Okay, abi ba 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 ba. Like a baby, you spank it. You spank it. And Heather goes, stay away from my doll's face. I do not want to have surgery. I do not want to wind up on botched, and neither does my doll. And now we have a rattler, she's rattling Bloody Mary. She's like, I baptize you in the name of. Anyways, most of these girls are, Gina names her doll Gina, Emily names her doll Emily. And Gina goes, I'm so intrigued by voodoo. Most people think that it's like evil spirits and dark, And then Bloody Mary's like, feed it on a regular basis, add things to it. Everything you add with a purpose. It's your ancient and voodoo vision board. And Gina goes, but there's this whole other side to it that is powerful, and it's about manifestation. She should make a voodoo doll, and we know that it's Travis because there's 2 like gigantic grapes on it. Yeah, but some of it's positive, And the Bloody Mary's like, you can redress it for different occasions. It's like a laboo-boo. It's like a fucking laboo-boo, you guys. A voodoo laboo-boo. Laboo-boo voodoo. We go back outside, and Tamara's like, I don't want to go back with you on all the things, Gretchen. And like I said, I want to sit down to you and talk to you because there's a lot of things that I do want to apologize for. Classic Tamara move. Of like, I don't want to do this now, but I do want to have a meeting, and I do want to apologize for you. This is textbook Tamara. And Tamara goes, because so many things were blurred. I wasn't in a good place at the time. I was with Simon at the time, and I still want to talk to you, Gretchen. I see a different side to you now. Now Tamara's just flat out lying. Tamara goes, you're so cute and you're beautiful and you're a mom and you broke your dude's penis. Things are different now. In a talking head, Gretchen says, the thing that Tamara has always been good at is making you feel like there's hope for change, for moving forward. And yes, everything in my soul wants to believe that it's true. Because I want that for her and I. I absolutely do. Now even Gretchen's lying. Isn't that a sin? Like, what do you... but Gretchen nails it, though. She nails it succinctly. She knows Tamara. Tamara says, Gretchen, I've been cordial to Katie because I believe that maybe you did tell her that. And now that I know that you didn't, and 100% believe you because I could tell by your reaction. And then Gretchen starts crying. I think she's crying. It's hard once again with the face. She's like, I can't be back in this shit again. If I was a producer, I'd be like, you asked to be here. We can take you home right now. What do you mean you can't be in this shit again? What did you think you were coming on to? The Partridge Family? And Shannon goes, it's going to get handled. And Gretchen's like, I can't go back to this shit. I can't. Shannon's like, you're not going to. You're not going to. You're safe here. You're safe. It's going to be okay. Shannon in a talking head says, Katie is insinuating that Tamara committed an illegal act. And that is bad. This takes Katie's issues with everyone to another level. Big time. I want to get to the bottom of this, and I think everybody's going to want to get to the bottom of this. Shannon just wants Katie off the show, so she's like, I think everybody's going to hate this, and I love it. We come back from break and all the ladies are getting ready for their evening out, and Shannon's in her bathroom and she's like teasing out her hair, and she goes, oh my God, I'm just trying to do my hair. She looks like Bret Michaels from Poison when he would like do the big hair back in the 80s. Tamara's doing her hair and she's like, no, my tracks are showing. Jenn calls Ryan on FaceTime and sorry, I just sneezed. Bless me. Thank you. And Ryan's like, what's up, sexy lady? You got your sparklies on? And I know that you blend in makeup, but sometimes I don't, when ladies do the makeup thing before the blending in, it looks like, are you trying to be a tribal warrior or something? And Ryan's like, is everyone getting along out there? And Jenn goes, well, things have been seemingly okay, but I'm going to ask tonight. I want to know the story behind the former fatty photo. And Ryan goes, you want my opinion? And Jenn goes, no. And Ryan goes, I love that. Oh my God. Tamara's going to send Ryan a picture of this, of like, this is who you're dating. And then Heather is calling Terry Dubrow. Terry's on the Stairmaster or something. And Heather's showing the voodoo doll and saying, we walked on a full Mardi Gras puppy parade. And then Terry's like, you show your boobs for beads? And Heather's like, I did not show my boobs. Are they diamond beads? I don't think so. Yeah, because Heather only gets naked for diamonds, she's saying. And then Shannon's room, we just see like all of this like fake hair just on the table. And there's a knock at the door. And Shannon's like, I'm coming. And she runs to the door, the hair just fully teased out. And it's Tamara. And Tamara's like, what are you doing with your hair? And Tamara comes in with like a half glass of what looks like water, right? We find out later that I think it's just straight vodka. And Shannon's like, what are you doing, Tamara? What is in that glass? What is in the glass? And Tamara's like, it's just water. I'm a little bit nervous, Shannon Beador, you little whore. Can I please brush your hair? And she's like, I'm good. I did the process. And Tamara's like, I don't think you're gonna. And she's like, Tamara, what are you nervous about? She's like, because I don't exactly know how to bring this up. It's such a deep, dark, gross thing. And she goes, you know what? Hearing what you said today, I am so livid about it. Tamra in a talking head says, I feel like Shannon and I are back to a really good place. It feels great to have her on my side. It really does. Like, yeah, I have your back, girl. We got this from 2 scenes? What? In the scene, Tamra goes, all right, so what do you have to do to get ready? And Shannon's like, I got to put my shoes on and I have my jewelry. And I got to push up my boobs. And I got to pee. I got to pee. So Tamra goes down after she keeps insisting on brushing Shannon's hair. But Shannon's like, I'm going to do it. So some of the ladies are in a car, and Gina's like, I feel like a sausage. I feel like a sausage in my outfit. And then Shannon is in a car by herself and asks the producer, did Tamra leave? And the producer's like, yes. And Shannon's like, this sisterhood needs to take a little, I don't know. I think Tamra meant like I need a little break from Tamra. And then Jenn comes into Gretchen's room, who is not ready yet. And Gretchen says, Jenn, I really needed to talk to you. What happened, Gretchen? And Gretchen says, I haven't seen you since the whole voodoo thing. And Jenn's like, I was thinking about you. And then Tamra and Shannon left with you. And then we cut back to the car with Jeana. And Gina's like, what did you do when you ran out of the voodoo, Tamra? And Tamra says, I had a heart-to-heart with Gretchen. And Gina's like, you did? Like a good one? And Tamra's like, yeah, about Katie. And Heather goes, oh, God, you did not. And Tamra goes, I did. We cut back to Gretchen. Gretchen says, Jenn, Tamra all of a sudden says to me, I heard from bloggers that Katie told them that I told Katie that Tamra roofied me. It took a long way to get there, but we finally got the roofied me is the important part, you guys. The night of Naked Wasted. Why is Jenn supposed to know what Naked Wasted is? Like, is Jenn a student of the Housewives? And Gretchen goes, and I was like, wait. What? And Jenn says, wow, Naked Wasted. I feel like I don't know much about that. I wonder if like the Housewives, when they're new, they get like a handbook of like memorable scenes. We go back to Gina's car and Tamra goes, Katie said that I roofied her. And Heather goes, that she roofied her. And Gina's like, ooh. In a talking head, Gina goes, what? The literal fuck. And Gina in the car says, was this about at Heather's party? And Tamra goes, yes. You were saying something about some story she planted or something. Is this that? And Tamra goes, that was illegal. Gina says, I don't trust Katie in a talking head, but I think Tamra's an all opportunity kind of girl. And Tamra in the car says, am I the asshole that's going to bring it up? And Emily goes, go ahead. Gina in a talking head says, I want to hear Katie's side of the story because I don't know what to believe. Yeah. So then Gretchen gets another knock at the door. It's Katie. And Katie's like, what's going on? And Gretchen says, I'm trying to freaking figure it out, Katie. And then Katie says, so Matt and Slade talked. Matt called me and he was like, what is happening? And Gretchen goes, yeah, I was like, because I got told by Tamra just now that you went to bloggers and you told them this crazy story about like that Tamra roofied me. And Katie goes, what? What? And Gretchen says, you've never gone to a blogger and never said anything to a blog? And Katie goes, no. In a talking head, Katie goes, so now it's all kind of coming together about what Tamra said to me at the Quiet Woman. We flash back to 1 month earlier, Tamra and Katie having a conversation, and Tamra says, I don't want to bring it up, but you told somebody something about me that is really bad. That could be anybody and anything. And Katie's like, I did? What did I say? And Tamra says, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. And then in the talking head, Katie says, and that Heather is questioning if I'm planting stories with Kiki Monique. We flash back to 2 weeks earlier with Heather goes, I heard you were asking Kiki Monique to put out stories to hurt us. Katie says, I feel like this has been a plan since the very beginning to make me look like a bad person. Why is she doing this to me? In the scene, Katie goes, Gretchen, I'm not just going to lie. I didn't do it. And Gretchen goes, yeah. And Katie goes, I know you have your doubts right now, but I hand to God, I didn't do it. And Gretchen says, when she said this, I was like, wait, what? But then I got back and I like started talking to Slade And he said, that doesn't even sound like something Katie would do. And Katie goes, I didn't do it. And Gretchen says, Katie would do it. Like all of a sudden, I just felt like, am I getting bamboozled over here by somebody telling me that this is what's happening? So that I like come at you and I freak out at you and I get pissed at you. Gretchen in a talking head says, when you have dealt with a demon, an individual that is willing to go to the greatest lengths to destroy people, to harm people, to hurt people, it just is hard to believe that person over the person that has never shown that to me in their life. In the scene, Gretchen exhales. And Jenn's like, all right, well, how much time do you need? You know, we got dinner. We it's important. We're getting a free meal tonight. Let's get dressed. So Shannon's already there as the other car pulls up with the ladies. And Heather's like, Shannon Beador, you whore. And Heather goes, Shannon, let's take a picture for your bio on Raya. And Shannon's like, I'm not doing a bio. I'm not doing a dating app. And Heather's like, yep, yes, you are. And then they're trying to take photos of Shannon, and she's like holding her hand at the lens. And then a little funny profile pops up, and it says Shannon 61, interested in love, likes my dog Archie, the quiet woman, lemons, 9 in a bowl, golden door, dislikes, liars, bad teeth, plates, sound bowls. And it's cute. It's funny. Anyways, Tamra tells Shannon, I told the other ladies about the roofie. And Shannon's like, she told you? And Gina goes, oh yeah, we heard. Woo. Okay, so some of the ladies are in the restaurant. They get seated once again in a private room away from the riffraff, the tables, which is great because that just would destroy business. So now we have Tamra, Shannon, and Gina on one side, right? And then we have Heather and Emily on the other side. And we're still waiting for the other ladies to get there. Gretchen in the car says, I'm fucking pissed. Or no, Katie says, I'm fucking pissed. I didn't do it. And Gretchen goes, I know. We go back to the dining room and Shannon's like, can we just talk about how Katie is late? Just kidding. So even now Shannon's like, she's even late. I bet she wears white after Labor Day. I bet she drinks red wine with fish. Gretchen tells Jenn, Tamra, she starts to make you question your own shit. And Jen's like, yeah, I mean, I'm like, am I? Did I? And Katie goes, but I know I didn't. We go back to the table. Tamra's starting to look a little fuzzy. She's a little something. Her eyes are look a little heavy lidded. And Tamra's like, let me ask you a question. What if Gretchen did tell Katie this? And Heather goes, she didn't. Everybody says she didn't. She didn't. And this is when the other ladies come in. And it's just silence. 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 And Katie in a talking head goes, when you walk in a room and you know that they're all talking about you, it is awkward. Emily's like, why are you guys so late? And Jenn goes, I was talking to Gretchen and she got delayed on what it would be like. Gretchen, she had a shit. She had some chachis, right? And Gretchen goes, yeah, it was my fault. And then Tamra hiccups. Tamra goes, I got the hiccups. You know what happens when you get the hiccups? Sometimes when you drink too much alcohol. And then Tamara's like, maybe I should go up, get upside down. Maybe that'll do it. And Heather's like, that's not a thing. Can you scare her, please? And Shannon just goes, ah! And then Tamara keeps hiccuping. You know what? It's almost, now that I'm rewatching it, it almost kind of seems like a bit. Like, is Tamara trying to act drunk? I'm so confused by this scene. Anyways, the waiter comes and says, what are we even asking for? Everybody gets espresso martinis, lemon drops. This cast goes through so much espresso martini, right? And then Tamra wants to talk to Gretchen. Tamra's like, Gretchen, how do I talk to you? Gretchen. So they walk out and Tamra says, Gretchen, do you want me to bring it up tonight or would you rather not me bring it up? And Tamra seems kind of sober here. And Tamra's like, because it's such a nasty thing. And Gretchen sighs. And Tamra goes, did you talk to her about it, Katie? And Gretchen shakes her head, yeah. And Tamra's like, what'd she say? And Gretchen says, well, she said she did not do that. And Tamra's like, do you believe that she said that? And Gretchen hesitates. And Gretchen says, yeah. Gretchen, yeah. And Tamra looks like she just got rocked. And Katie gets up and walks to where they're at. And Shannon's like, is she going to the bathroom? A lot of shit happened today. Where's Katie? And then Shannon, after Katie leaves, tells Jenn, like, do you know what happened? And Jenn goes, I think I do. And Heather's like, how do you feel about that? And Jenn says, I've had a lot of conversations with Gretchen. And if Gretchen felt like she was roofied, I think she would have said that. And everybody's like, yeah, no, we all agree. We all agree. And she's like, she would have loved to have brought that up. She would love a good roofie story. Are you kidding me? Now Katie's in front of Gretchen and Gretchen and Tamra. And Katie's like, Tamra, I didn't talk to Kiki Monique about it. I love that Kiki is now, for like Housewives generations of fans to come, they'll be like the Kiki Monique episode. But Tamra goes, well, so why did I get two people reaching out to me, Katie? Tell me the same story. And Katie's like, who? Oh my God, you know what would just make my ass drop out if Tamra was like, Ryan Bailey. So bad it's good, Ryan Bailey did. I'd be like, what? But Tamra goes, it's somebody who doesn't want to be named. No shit, Tamra. Of course they don't want to be named. And probably you're making it up in the first place. But Katie says, it's not true. It's not true. And now Tamra does look drunk. Tamra looks like she's seen like 4 of everybody. And Gretchen says, I was looking forward to moving forward with you, Tamra. And I still want to have that talk with you. So we can either harp on this. And Tamra's like, wait, are you saying I just pulled this out of my ass? And Gretchen says, no, I don't know what happened. I've asked, you told me this. And Tamra immediately does her like, okay, whatever, and walks off. And Gretchen's like, I didn't say that. And Tamra's like, oh my God. As she walks into the room and she's telling the other ladies, Gretchen believes Katie. And Heather goes, what? And Heather's staring at her like she needs glasses of some sorts. And Gretchen says, oh my God. And Tamra's go, this is fucked up. And then we cut to our last commercial break. Sorry, I lied. I guess there's one more commercial break after this. Oh, God, just make it end. Sorry. This is probably not my best podcast, you guys. Anyways, we come back and Tamra goes, Katie. Sorry. There's always a point, and usually at the end of the week, where I will laugh and be like, I am a grown man doing this. I mean, this is real. Okay, let's do this again. Tamra says, Katie goes, I never had a conversation. I go, why would I get that sent to me? In a talking head, Tamra goes, I am absolutely blindsided by Gretchen. When I told Gretchen about this, she was siding with me. See, this is why Gretchen is good on this show, because Tamra misread that situation entirely. Tamra goes, was this just an act with Gretchen? Because what was said is illegal, and it's a lie. Uh-oh, so now you sound like Shannon Beador with the illegal stuff. Okay, so now Katie comes in with Gretchen, and Shannon's like, starts clapping. Shannon's like, congratulations, Katie. Your excuses work for one person. And Katie goes, oh my God, Shannon, whatever. And Shannon goes, whatever. And then Katie goes, whatever, you're not involved. Heather takes a chug of her espresso martini. And Shannon goes, I'm angry. And Katie goes, everybody knows, yeah. Every single person at this table, except Jenn, you have hurt. Every single person. And Katie goes, and the thing is, I've owned it when I've done something wrong, Shannon. And Shannon goes, who wants to be around somebody that hurts an entire table of people? Well, you are on The Real Housewives. And Katie's like, oh my God, I didn't say it. And then Shannon does the full hands out. Stop lying. It's on my fucking plate. The waiter comes in at this point. And then Shannon literally goes, oh, I can't stand it. I can't stand you. I can't. Heather at a talking head goes, I love Shannon, but she could be like a dog with a frisbee. She doesn't let go. She goes, rawr, rawr. Shannon goes, Katie, you're known as the leak from the bottom to the top. From the bottom to the top. Gretchen says, where's the proof that that happened? And I haven't seen anything. So I'm just supposed to be like, fuck you and come after her. And Heather goes, no, I get that. Smart, I get that. And Gina goes, I think she's struggling because this is her friend. And Heather goes, yeah, that's difficult. That's difficult. And Gina goes, yeah, she doesn't just want to say, oh, fuck you, Katie, because she doesn't know, you know? And Katie's like, I didn't do it. And by the way, Katie's sitting right next to Tamra. And Gretchen makes a good point. Gretchen says, Tamra, this person has done so much to me. So you really think I'm just going to believe this shit? No. Shannon goes, there are multiple reputable reporters. Okay, Shannon, come on, reputable report. Who are we talking about? Gina goes, I don't know why Tamra would believe Gretchen would believe anything that came out of her mouth. Like, has this ever historically gone well for these women in the past 12 years? No. Jenn asks Tamra, did you ever ask Katie about it? And Tamra goes, no. And Heather goes, no, because she didn't want it to be a thing. And Tamra goes, I wanted to ask Gretchen. And today she was disgusted. She was crying. And Gretchen goes, I wasn't crying. But once again, we can't tell because of the face. Like, who knows? And Tamra goes, you were upset about it. And Heather goes, you were emotional. Let's say that. You were emotional. And Gretchen's like, I was emotional, of course. And then Jenn goes, okay, well, then let's all have it out. Okay, let's all have it. I'd love, like, where is the picture? Okay, good. Former fatty photo time. And Tamra's smiling and goes, of what? And Jenn goes, me. And everybody's like, zoinks. And Jenn goes, we all want to have Katie come to the table. If everybody's been hurt, well, everybody's been hurt. Here by you as well. Everybody's been hurt by you as well. What's the intent of the picture with me? I've been asking, I've been hearing about it. We flash back once again to Tamra showing Heather the former fatty photo, and she's like, her lips are like hot dogs. And it is mean. It is horrible. It's horrible on both accounts. And then Tamra just kind of goes, I don't care about that. And Jenn goes, what do you mean you don't care about that? And Tamra goes, I was just retaliating because you kept telling me. And Jenn goes, no, you were retaliating because I'm obsessed with you. So then you start showing pictures of me. And Tamra's like, but it was like you reached out to me in 2013 as a fan. And this is when Tamra starts to really seem drunk. So what is the 2013 as a fan? And Jenn's like, what are you talking about? Tense music is playing in the background. And then Jenn says, are we on something? I mean, Xanax or something? When we throw out a pill allegation is that's some good Housewives right there. And Tamra just looks confused. And Jenn goes, Tamra, you're not even making sense. Just stay on track. Ooh, Tamra just got clocked. Got clocked. Lawyer, let me handle this. You know what the issue is here? Is this whole thing where you're saying that, like, she's obsessed with you. Like, to me, that's a deflection from what the real root issues are between the two of you. And Jenn goes, yeah, what is the issue? And Tamra's like, I don't know, what is it? And she's smiling. I don't know, what is it? And Jenn goes, I don't know. And Tamra goes, I don't know. I don't know, what is it? And now Jen's looking around the table like, am I crazy? And then Emily's like, well, this is going nowhere. And everybody's just like weirded out. And she's like, who's on first, you know? And then Tamra goes, I feel like it's been a tit for tat for the past 2 years. But like, and then Gretchen goes, but when did it start? And Tamra goes, it's none of your fucking business. And Gretchen goes, oh, wow, okay. Tamra goes, you don't know anything. And Jenn goes, oh, it just takes a little time, and it always just creeps right back. Your little potty mouth always creeping right back out. And Heather goes, there is a nicer way to say that. And Tamra goes, yeah, but Gretchen doesn't know anything. And Jenn goes, she knows a lot. You quiz her on the Bible. She knows everything. No, she goes, she knows a lot. And Tamra goes, what, you told her? And Katie goes, what? And Tamra goes, what do you mean, what? And Katie goes, I'm asking Jenn, Tamra. And then Tamra just goes, fuck off. She's, fuck off. And Gina goes, all right, you know what, Tamra? You're being rude. And you're sloshed. And you're sloshed. And that's what's happening here. Yeah. And Tamra's like, stop being rude. Like, I'm not being rude, Tamra. You're being fucking rude to everybody at the table, Tamra. This is actually my table, and I don't appreciate that. And a talking head, Gina goes, it's too much. You have one fucking eye open. You have no idea what's going on. Don't say that shit to me, Tamra. Don't come at the one sober person at the table. I'm just too sober for this shit in general. Gina goes, it's not fun to be in the middle of all of your bullshit, Tamra. And then Heather goes, for any of us. And then Tamra realizes everybody is potentially against her. And they're like, Jenn, what do you need? And Jenn's like, you know what? I say table it. I don't think tonight is the night. I do agree with a little bit of what Gina's saying. I don't know what's going on. Tamra, you don't seem like you're in your right mind to be totally transparent. You don't. And now Tamra just has that drunken stare and her head's like tilted. And Jenn's like, go ahead, say something. It's quiet. And Emily goes, I don't even know where to go with this one. This is a whole new level for me, Emily says. When you've lost Emily, you've lost the battle. And they're like, when you don't know what to say, Emily. And then Emily goes, cheers. And then Shannon takes a big fork full of salad. And then Heather goes, Gretchen, would you want to try my gumbo yaya? My gumbo yaya? It's very good. And Gretchen's like, no, thank you. And then Gretchen's like, Emily, do you want to try my yaya? And then Heather's like, Tamra, do you want to try my gumbalaya yaya? And then Tamra goes, I don't want anything from you. I don't want anything from you. And Heather goes, why did you say that? And then Tamra goes, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. And Heather's like, okay. Shannon and I are talking. Heather goes, I don't know how many drinks that Tamra had, but I know she walked into my room with something that she claimed was water. It didn't look like water. We flash back to it. If that's a fucking half glass full of vodka, damn. Shannon goes, I just heard 5 hours ago that I'm never going to see her wasted again. And, and we flash back, of course, to that scene because they think we forgot it. So what is she doing? So now it's just awkward silence at the table. And Tamra gets up all of a sudden and walks out. Very dramatically. And Emily goes, okay, what the fuck is going on with her? Heather drinks another thing. Why do we never see Heather shit-canned wasted? But Jenn goes, this is bad. This is not a good night. Emily goes, she's fucking out of it. And Gina goes, she's mad at me because I said she sloshed. And Heather goes, something is going on here. And then we see a producer outside with Tamra. And the producer's like, are you okay? And Tamra's like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. And now is our last commercial break. Okay, we come back from break. And Gretchen's like, she screamed at me. And I was like, okay, I'm not touching this. When she gets this psycho, you can see something in her eyes. And Heather goes out to check on Tamra. And Heather's like, Tam, what's going on with you, honey? And Tamra's like, I want to go home. You're not being yourself. How am I not being myself? Because I'm not fucking yelling. And Heather goes, no, I don't want you to yell. And Tamra's like, then what is it? What do you want from me? Tamra says. And back in the dining hall, Jenn says, Shannon, if I were you, if you showed up like that, oh, you would be drunk. And Shannon's like, I gave her Gina's water. I don't know what else to do. Back to Tamra. Tamra goes, I just sat down with Gretchen and we told her everything. And now all of a sudden, I'm the asshole? I'm the asshole. Heather's like, no one's saying you're an asshole. I mean, there's a couple people, sure. And Tamra's like, I'm not doing this. And Heather's like, honey, no one's saying you're an asshole. I'm saying with Gretchen, she probably needs to have a step back. And Tamra goes, I don't give a fuck. Back in the dining hall, Jenn goes, what is happening out there? And Emily goes, I would have taken her home. And you hear Tamra screaming, I don't give a fuck. This girl has contacted my daughter. She's called my husband gay. And so now it's back to Gretchen. Now we're angry at Gretchen for past things, right? And Jen's like, oh, she's talking about you now, the daughter. And Gretchen's like, yep, she's losing her mind. And Tamra's like, she's gone after me, Heather, 1,000,000 times. And Heather's like, did you talk about that? No, I've been so fucking nice to her. Fuck off. And then Tamra runs off from Heather. You can have her. Fuck off. Fuck off. Heather in a talking head goes, hello, I'm on your side. I get shit from everyone for being on your side. And you want to come after me? I give you so much veuve clicquot. Heather seems frustrated, and then the camera follows Tamra as she's like in a back stairwell. It's like a dirty back stairwell. And Heather's like, I understand she is going through a tough time right now, and she's dealing with her very best friend being ill. Can I tell you something? She's not acting like herself. I am worried about her. And we have Tamra walking down, this poor cameraman having to go down the stairs following Tamra, and Tamra's mumbling, fuck off! You can have her. Fuck off. Emily in the dining hall says, Tamra doesn't do herself any favor showing up at a dinner fucked out of her mind. And Gina goes, she took a Xanax or something. She had a drink. And that's what that is. And Shannon's like, it is? Shannon's like, I've never been around drunk people. Interesting. And Gina goes, even from the second she sat down, her eyes were all cockeyed like this. Like a Popeye. Tamra's walking now into the dining hall, and in the voiceover, Tamra says, I just want my friends there for me and understand, no, I'm not perfect. Upstairs, Heather goes, she's very upset. She did not want to be with anyone. In a talking head, Tamra says, I feel not loved and not wanted, and I just don't think there's a place for me in this group. Tamra in the scene goes, do we have a car for me, or do I get an Uber? Do I have to get an Uber? Gina in the dining hall goes, Tamra just texted me, fuck off. Tamra texted Gina, fuck off. Heather goes, what? What? And we see the text. Tamra says, fuck off, 3 exclamation points. And Gina texts back, go to bed. And then Tamra texts her, you were out of line. You're one of my minions. And then Katie picks up her phone. Let me see if I got one. And Katie's like, oh, I didn't. Tamra's texting Kiki Monique. Heather checks her phone. And Emily's like, fuck off. That's what she texted you, Gina? And Gina goes, oh, no. Now Heather got a text. Heather goes, she said, I'm out. Gina crossed the line. No one is authentic. And Gina's like, oh, I crossed the line. Gina's pulling out a voodoo doll. I renamed this doll Tamra. And Heather goes, what did you do, Gina? Well, I told her she sloshed and not to tell me, and she told me, fuck you. I've had it with Tamra. I mean, you claim you're working on yourself, and you claim you're working on your temper, and you claim you have personal growth, and this behavior is like absolutely not acceptable. She just said, fuck you to the wrong person. Gina Kirschenheiter. And then, like, dessert gets brought in, and all the ladies are clapping, like, dessert, dessert, dessert. And then we see the Uber, and Tamra's calling Eddie, her husband, and Tamra's like, can you find me a flight out of here? I'm over. I'm done. And then Gina goes, oh, my God. She put on her Instagram, oh, my God. And we see Tamra's Instagram story, not even a post, a story. She's like, it was a long run. When life gives you real problems, this reality shit doesn't make sense. Peace out. And then she did the peace out emoji. I'm out. Tamra Judge out. Like immediately, did not waste any time immediately posting it on Instagram. And Jen goes, she really posted that? And she's like, she quit? Jen in a talking head goes, there's no doubt in my mind that Tamra used this information to try to extend an olive branch to Gretchen. Gretchen says, I literally said in my head, I go, she will probably try and quit the show. And Gina goes, I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is a cry for attention. I don't fucking know. Jen in a talking head goes, and once again has thrown Katie in the line of fire. It's like, here's the grenade. Hold it. I'm going to pull the pin and walk away. Explosion. That's how a grenade works. And then once again, we see Tamra in the Uber saying, I'm out. I don't need this. I run the Twats Empire. I don't need this. Bye, bye, bye. And then the most infamous Chiron in Housewives pops up. To be continued, ... that is the end of an episode. Man, that was tough to get through. I hope you found some sort of joy in that, because that was not good. I did not. I'm sorry, guys. I could have done better on that. That was my bad. But I hope you enjoyed some of today's show, and check out the rest of the shows from this week. What a wild week of shows. Next week, we got another great week of shows. I'm doing it just like that on the Patreon. I got 2 episodes to do and a Q&A episode over there. So if you want to join us, patreon.com/SoBadIt'sGood. You're at the weekend though, so eat something good, drink something great, hang out with people, tell them you love them, or be by yourself if you need that. And then come back early on Monday for an all new pop culture roundup with the one and only Sophie Ross. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.